Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my predictions for our game against Granada in the Europa League quarter-final second leg. So score prediction, I'm going to go with 3-0 to Manchester United. And the goal scorers, I'm going to go with Marcus Rashford, Edison Cavani and Bruno Fernandes. I've already given you my starting 11 prediction. So we are more or less into the Europa League semi-finals. That'll be 5 semi-finals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now we beat Granada in the first leg 2-0. It was a pretty good performance by Manchester United, 2 away goals and a clean sheet. The goals came from Marcus Rashford. He scored the first. It was a lovely touch and finish from Rashford, and it was a good long ball from Victor Lindelof. And the second goal came from Bruno Fernandes from the penalty spot towards the end of the game. We should have actually had more than 2 goals because Bruno Fernandes had a very good chance just before the penalty. The disappointing thing is that Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay are all suspended for the second leg tomorrow. From a Granada perspective, they'd have been very disappointed in the first leg because it was a poor performance by them, offered very little going forward. I think their best player in the first leg was Kennedy. He was trying to make things happen, had a few long-range shots, but there were straightforward saves for David De Gea. Their best chance of the first leg was from Herrera when he hit the post. Granada, I wouldn't say they're poor, but they're not exactly great either. They're sitting, 8th in La Liga. They won their last game 2-1. They progressed to the quarter-finals of the Europa League by beating Napoli and Molde. Molde is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's former club. Granada's current manager is Diego Martinez. They have got some players out of Granada. Obviously, Miller's out. Lozano's out. Duarte's out. I think he's suspended anyway, but now he's got an injury. Utd, he's suspended. And they've got another player out as well. They've got some good players. Obviously, Luis Suarez, he's one of Granada's key players. I think he came on in the first leg, but he was actually injured prior to that game. They've got Soldado, he's one of their key players. He's Granada's joint top goal scorer. Roberto Soldado is a former Tottenham player. They've got George Molina. He's Granada's joint top goal scorer. Pepe Sanchez, they've got him. I think he's actually out at the moment. And that Yangel Herrera, he's quite good. We're coming into this game on the back of a 3-1 win against Tottenham. It was a good second half performance by Manchester United against Tottenham, but I don't think we was good in the first half. Obviously, we came from behind in the game against Tottenham because obviously Tottenham took the lead through Heung-min Son. Victor Lindelof was accountable for their goal because Lindelof should have cleared it. The big talking point of the game against Tottenham was Edinson Cavani's disallowed goal. VAR disallowed Edinson Cavani's goal because McTominay's hand hit Heung-min Son, but I kind of sure it wasn't intentional from McTominay. But it was a good finish by Edinson Cavani, and I totally disagree with the goal getting ruled out. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was infuriated that the goal didn't get given. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer slammed Heung-min Son after the disallowed goal. Jose Mourinho hit back at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over his comments regarding Son. This is why Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho had the bust-up. But anyway, Fred scored our equaliser against Tottenham. You know, Cavani played a part in that because he forced Lloris into a save and then Fred got the rebound. Obviously, Edinson Cavani scored our second goal. It was a fantastic diving header and it was a lovely cross by Mason Greenwood. And the third goal came from Mason Greenwood and Paul Pogba had got the assist. Reflects on that win against Tottenham, I think that now secures us a second place finish. But all our focus now is on the Europa League because the Europa League is a priority for Manchester United. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager, because he's not yet won a trophy and he's been Man United manager over 2 years and we haven't won a trophy since 2017. Don't forget, Solskjaer did say last month that winning trophies can be an ego thing. He said that having regards to some other managers and some other clubs, and he basically said clubs like Man United, trophies no longer prove success, but I've got to totally disagree with him in that aspect. We've got a very good chance of winning the Europa League. Obviously, we got to the semi-finals last season. We lost 2-1 to Sevilla and we won the Europa League back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era. We beat Ajax in the final 2-0. But even if we fail to win the Europa League, we know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to be sacked as Manchester United manager. That's already been made clear, so I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window and he'll be Man United manager next season. Obviously, our next league game is Burnley. We've got some players missing. Obviously, Anthony Martial, he's out with injury. Solskjaer did confirm not so long ago that it's likely that Martial will be out for the remainder of the season. Martial sustained this injury whilst he was out on international duty with France. Obviously, Bay's not available because he's got COVID. Phil Jones, he's still out with injury, but he doesn't get in R11 anyway. I think Daniel James has got a knock. And Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay are all suspended for this one. We do play Roma or Ajax in the semi-final. Because I think we're in the semi-finals now. Granada have obviously got to win 3-0 at Old Trafford to go through to the semi-finals. You know, we progressed to the quarters of the Europa League by beating Real Sociedad and beating AC Milan. Now, I've already given you the update on some of the transfer news. I'll give you the update on my last video I did. You now know the latest on Jadon Sancho. Manchester United have been given a new Jadon Sancho transfer price by Borussia Dortmund. The Times have said that Borussia Dortmund are open to selling Jadon Sancho for £86 million. So Dortmund have reduced their asking price because initially they was demanding £108 million. But he recently said that we are still very interested in Sancho and we are refusing to rule out a move. Borussia Dortmund have already admitted that they will sell Jadon Sancho for the right price in the summer. Borussia Dortmund's CEO revealed not so long ago that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winner. But Dortmund have made it clear that they won't let players go for cut price deals. Jadon Sancho is ruled out for Dortmund's game tonight against Man City in the Champions League. Earlier on this season, it said that we was preparing a £50 million bid for Jadon Sancho because it said we believe we could have got him for the cut price deal. Earlier on this season, it said we dropped our interest in Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Borussia Dortmund's CEO said earlier on this season that Sancho, Haaland and more Dortmund stars could be sold to avoid financial crisis. Earlier on this season, Sancho made an admission saying that he has enjoyed a difficult season at Dortmund, but he said he was happy to be back among the goals. Obviously, last summer, Jadon Sancho was our number one priority target. And Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close because it said the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed, but we couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee, so that was what the stumbling block was. I think we was only willing to pay like 80 million up front and Dortmund were demanding 108 million. Dortmund said to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. But Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too has Bill's Christian Falk. There's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Declan Rice recently. Declan Rice is interested in joining Manchester United and he's asked Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire about life at Old Trafford. West Ham are demanding over £100 million. Earlier on this season, it said that Solskjaer agreed with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club, and it says we're seeing him as a long-term replacement for Matic. The main explanations I take Declan Rice at Manchester United is because he's well proven in the Premier League. He's young, he's got a lot of development in him, and he just dramatically improves us, and he's predominantly a holding midfielder, but can also be deployed as a centre-half. Rice has been at West Ham for 7 years now. He's got a contract with them till 2024. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years, but never got into their first team. I think Solskjaer wants to bring Declan Rice into the club. You already know the news on Harry Kane. Now, it said not so long ago that Harry Kane will ask to leave Tottenham if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. Now, it's saying Harry Kane's deal to Man United is off, reflecting on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho's bust-up not so long ago. Harry Kane wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham. He says recently that PSG are looking to beat Man United and Man City to the signing of Harry Kane. Now, it said earlier on this season that Harry Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow because he said he refused to commit his future to the club and he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. We'll have to make an offer of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload Harry Kane. But yeah, I'm expecting us to be very active in the summer transfer window. Reports said not so long ago that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window. But Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. And I've identified the areas where Man United need to strengthen up. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer window due to the pandemic. But I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window because obviously we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. And he knows the club through thick and thin. And we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. And obviously Woodward standing by Solskjaer because Woodward believes Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. And he released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing Solskjaer. And he said towards the end of last year that he will back Ole with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And when we was enjoying them bad periods under Ole, Wood would come out several times to show his support for Ole. Because like I've mentioned so many times before, our board have got a soft stance on Solskjaer with him being a club legend. And the main explanation is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend. You know, disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been Man United manager now. But the summer transfer window will be his 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. But I think Solskjaer's not been backed enough so far in the transfer windows he has enjoyed, and in that aspect the blame stems from the board. But like I've mentioned so many times before, the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. There's a lot of players that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window. And I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. You know, I think Henderson will stay. He's got a long-term future at Man United. I reckon now that Dean Henderson is our number one. And I said he's reliable enough to become our number one. You know, Dean Henderson was in goal against Tottenham recently. He was in goal for 7 games in a row prior to the first leg against Granada. But Dean Henderson has kept a lot of clean sheets. His distribution's been good. He makes good saves and he can make good aerial claims. And he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. And he's got a lot of experience behind him. Luke Shaw, he'll obviously stay. Luke Shaw's been player of the season. He's showed good attacking intent. He's got into very good positions. He's put good crosses into the box. Defensively, Luke Shaw's been superb and he's provided width. Luke Shaw's had a good career at Manchester United apart from his injuries. Harry Maguire, he'll also stay. Not too sure about long term. Harry Maguire has enjoyed some good games at Man United, but he's also enjoyed bad games as well. But either way, we certainly overpaid for him. We got him in a deal worth £80 million. He's the second most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. Victor Lindelof, I reckon he'll stay, but not long term, but he'll stay potentially past the summer. Lindelof's done quite well recently, to his credit. Eric Bay, I think he'll stay potentially past the summer, but I'm kind of sure he won't be here long term. Bay's a very good centre-half. My only element of concern about Bay is too injury prone. Wan-Bissaka, I think he'll stay long term. He's a very good right-back. All Wan-Bissaka's got to do is show more attacking intent, because that's what he's lacking at the moment. But in some games, he's shown good attacking intent, and defensively, he's been superb more or less. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth $50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. Paul Pogba, he could stay potentially past the summer, but I don't think he'll be with us long term. A lot of United fans would like Paul Pogba to stay because we have been getting the best out of him in recent months. And I prefer Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. Don't forget, there has been Italian reports talking about a swap deal involving Paul Pogba and Cristiano Ronaldo, because it does mention that Cristiano Ronaldo could make a sensational return to Man United. Scott McTominay, he'll stay as well. McTominay's a decent player, but McTominay's not yet at that level where we want him to be at. McTominay's still young. He's got a lot of development in him, and just after the first lockdown last year, he signed a 5-year contract with Man United. Fred, I think he'll also stay, probably not long term. I think we overpaid for Fred. We got him in a deal worth $52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk, but he has enjoyed some good games at Man United. Bruno Fernandes, he'll obviously stay. Bruno Fernandes is our best player and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Mason Greenwood, I think he'll stay long term because Mason Greenwood's been phenomenal since he broke into our first team squad. Sometimes we play Greenwood centrally, sometimes we play him on the right wing. Rashford, he'll obviously stay as well. And Cavani, he could stay for next season. There's been reports coming out today saying that we've been handed a boost in our attempt to keep hold of Cavani because the Uruguay manager has advised Edison Cavani to stay in Europe. Solskjaer would obviously love Cavani to stay, and a lot of Man United fans would. Prior to the Tottenham game, Solskjaer said he's unsure over Cavani's future. We've all the held talks with Cavani over his future at the club. So we're desperate to get him that new contract, because he's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Hamad Diallo Traore, he'll obviously stay as well. I said he looks a very good asset for the first team squad. But there's quite a few players I'm expecting to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Martial, I want him to leave because he's no longer good enough to represent the club and he has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Juan Mata, I'm expecting him to leave. Donny van der Beek, expecting him to leave because he's not getting enough opportunities at Man United. Matic, I'm expecting him to leave because he's not one of our first choice midfielders and he is inconsistent. Alex Telles now, he could leave because he hasn't been given enough opportunities at Manchester United. Phil Jones, expecting him to leave. I'm actually expecting Tuanzebe to leave because he doesn't get in our 11. De Gea could leave. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. So there you go. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've said regarding him, he does deserve at least another season at Manchester United. Because Solskjaer has made progress in certain aspects. Next season will be Solskjaer's third full season at the club. This is his second full season at the moment. Now, obviously, Solskjaer's been criticised a lot as Man United manager, and there's been a lot of United fans demanding him out. Obviously, they've got main explanations why they're demanding him out, but obviously, I presume there's still some Man United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and believes that he needs more time at the club. I can assure you he isn't the long-term manager for Man United. We know that he's already agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. You know, it's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Solskjaer still has 1 year left on his current 3-year contract. But I can assure that Solskjaer is the best manager since Ferguson. You know, he's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. You know, we've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. That's David Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. Ole has been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. And, you know, reflecting now on he's been at the club, he's gained some managerial experience. And he's learnt quite a bit on the job. He's tried a few different elements. What I mean by that is he's tried different formations and he's rotated the squad a lot. You know, my 2 biggest concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. And his decision making is my other concern about him. But whether Solskjaer succeeds as Man United manager or not, we'll always love him because at the end of the day, he's a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United and he flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. But like I've said in the last 8 years, nothing's changed at Manchester United. It's just been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. Mistakes have been made in the last 8 years and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. I'll pinpoint some of the mistakes out. Ferguson made one mistake and that was recommending David Moyes in at that time when he retired in 2013. I think a lot of the players we've brought in the last 8 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United and we've brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired. But there again, I think there's some players we've brought in who we should have kept and we let go. You know, do you think we made a mistake by giving Solskjaer the job permanently or did we give him it too soon? Should we wait until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether to give him the job? We give Ole the job permanently because he did very, very well as the interim manager. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.